Hi, John Marshall, the DrillMaster. Got a 2022 performance from William J. Brennan High School, Air Force JROTC, and we're going to look at the Armed Regulation drill sequence. All right, so from the beginning, really well done with the hands. That's perfect. That's exactly what the hands need to look like. Flat. This is a little bit of an angle with the knuckles, but still the angle forward with the fingers, nicely done. Alignment not as good as it could be, and then this young lady here looks like she has her arm bent, which really everybody should have a nice straight arm. His arm looks like it's purposefully, forcefully extended. So it should be there should be a natural slight bend in the elbow if you do have that. Now, some people don't have a bend in the elbow. They can put their arm out straight, and then it's just straight as a broom handle, and that's fine. Not a problem if that's the natural look for you. However, this looks forced. So you don't want that forced look at all, especially if it wrinkles the blouse sleeve. All right, let's get to the performance. So for the regulation drill sequence, exhibition, do whatever you want. That's fine. But commander, you don't face with the team. And just so you know, Air Force follows armed units, except for color guard. Air Force follows the training circular for the manual of arms. All right, so commander, you should have remained facing the flight, and then as soon as you go to order, as soon as while you're at order, right after the facing movement, you need to ground that weapon right up against the shoe, just like that. All three toes aligned, perfect, really well done. Here, slight angle outward with the heel of the butt, but that gap, the gap here, nope, not gonna work. Not gonna work at all. And then you don't want to even have a hint of a finger angled over in front of the rifle. They have to be, fingers are extended and joined at the side of the rifle, period, at the side here, side, but slight angle, and it looks like maybe a slight overlap here, don't know, but not too bad though. So all this, immediately I notice variation of step technique, and that's not good if I can notice it just like that, especially with it being an element leader. So a lot of marching band students have this issue, where I was in marching band. I was also in JROTC. We didn't, in my marching band, we didn't march the extreme heel toe. We bent our knees, so everything was fine. Many marching bands will march the straight leg technique, which requires the toes to practically point straight up, and heel straight, then roll forward. Well, this is pretty much what the second element leader is doing. So you can see high toe compared with just about everybody else, and you'll see as the team marches forward, his technique of marching is completely different from everybody else. Now, it looks great because he's just floating, and that's exactly what you're supposed to do on the football field for the marching band for the halftime show. That's what we want here as well. However, for a marching band, the application is to not bend the knees, so that, especially if you have a stripe down the side of the trouser leg, you don't want it to break. Having that stripe not break during your performance, it looks really good. However, For here, for military marching, we want the knee bend. We don't want the high toe. That's not part of the technique. So, Commander, you turned before before that position caught up to you. So you should be facing the flight to give order arms. You shouldn't face with the flight. As soon as you halt, right face. Good job, team. Nice short, choppy steps, getting your alignment, getting your distance. Well done. So for those of you who don't know, while she's reporting in, you up until the report in, most often you can do pretty much whatever you want. So centering by executing a couple of side steps, getting your dress, getting your cover, interval and distance, that's totally allowed. That creates a better visual for anybody who's in front of you, including the head judge. So you want that better visual. You want the team aligned properly. Nice timing. Good articulation of movement as well. Nicely done. However, look at, you can see some of the rifle toes, the butt toes, are not aligned with the shoe toes. Now look here, right? Yeah, you can see it. All right. You can see that the toe of the rifle is off of the marching surface, which is exactly the way it's supposed to be. Now, all three toes should be aligned, and that rifle toe, the toe of the rifle, really should be back farther so that we couldn't see it. However, since we can, you want to have all three toes aligned and then rock the rifle back so that your thumb is along the seam of the trouser leg and the rifle rests only on the heel of the butt of the rifle. So got some sliding going on, the hand slide up, which is not a requirement. You should keep that hand in the same place on the rifle. Good tempo. Angles are off here and there. You can tell with each of the movements when you're at port. And again, Commander, you need to face the flight the whole time. So look here, pinky rolled up. It looks like either that or there's an angle like this. So want that hand to be as flat as possible, like this. And you should be, again, facing the flight. So you're giving close or close interval. So when you lift the rifle off the marching surface, it really needs to be 3 inches, not any closer. And then, Commander, on this movement, you would march forward at half step. You would march backward as well, because you'd be facing the flight like you're supposed to be. That was good. So spacing not working well there for the first element. Second element, not too bad. The steps should have been a little bit smaller, but for doing this in a static position, you need to use metered steps. And what I mean by metered steps is the steps are not full half steps, but they're somewhere in between 6, 8 inches or so, something like that. Not a full 12, because if you do 12, then you're going to be running into everybody on your right. So as you take those half steps, each one of them needs to be the same width. So because we're marching sideways, it'll be width. So if you're going to take 4 steps, then 4 steps of, let's say, 8 inches each, that's going to have you end up at close interval. That's where you want to be. Not like this, not touching. This is pretty close. This is really quite good. That's not too bad at all. But this just doesn't work well at all. So the same width of step needs to be taken for close and then also for extend. And I'll mention it one more time, Commander. You really need to be facing the flight, and then you put the weapon down, pull it in immediately. So maybe you're thinking, oh, it's a mistake. No, it's not necessarily a mistake. It's just that as soon as you put the weapon in, it's grounded. That's part of the process. Leaving your weapon where it is, it would be great if the weapon just landed right there, and you can do that. Weapon lands grounded and all three toes aligned. You can do that with tons and tons of practice. However, if you just don't have that capability for tons and tons of practice, then you're going to place the rifle as best as possible and then push it in. And that, you've got your fingers there, so push, just a slight movement. So alignment here is not all that great. And again, Commander, you shouldn't be executing the movements like that. You should be marching backwards. Facing the team, I should say. So the elbows coming out, it's not the best application of the technique. What I mean by elbows, so as you bring the rifle up, you come down to see where my elbow is now on my side. You come down to grab the butt of the rifle, and then you should bring the rifle up so that you meet it with the flared hand and the forearm horizontal, pointing straight forward, and then cut away. So that elbow doesn't move from this point right here. As you drop that hand to grab the butt of the rifle, come up, and the elbow doesn't come out. Now watch as some elbows come out here. So you can see them come out just a bit and then come in. Now, for those who have, this young lady has more of an hourglass figure, so you can see a little bit of the blouse that she's wearing is slightly tapered inward, and that's to properly fit her. That's not a problem. Same here. So you can see, just a little bit of daylight in there. That's not a problem. That's not exactly what I'm talking about. Now, also some males, they'll have broader shoulders and then more of a V for the lats here. And then it's a little bit more difficult, especially the more muscled males. It'll be a little bit difficult for them to pull that elbow all the way in. So you have to give some leeway for physical differences there. But in general, having the going from here and then coming out and then coming in, that's what I'm talking about. So she has arm swing that curves behind her instead of going straight back. So half step there, the feet are being raised much too high, and you're also toe striking, and that's not a technique for the Air Force. Now, you're doing quite well. You all have pretty much the same foot rise and technique applied for the toe strike, but that's not what we do in the Air Force. Air Force requires a heel strike. And so just like marching forward, when you're marching at a full step, when you're marching at half step for the Air Force, that's 12 inches. When you're marching at a half step, still the foot only clears the marching surface. That's it. It's not supposed to be lifted in any kind of special manner. Just like the full 24-inch step, it just clears the marching surface. Nice job, Commander. Good pinning the arms on those flanks. Well done, team. So the halt there was a bit sped up. So you still want to maintain the tempo. It's left, right, flight, halt, step, close, not step, close, with that nice slam immediately in there. It's you can still bring the heels together and create some noise, but it shouldn't be purposeful, over the top noise. It's normal everyday steps. In exhibition drill, have at it. In regulation drill, there is no need for any of that, because that's not what our pamphlet says. Our pamphlet says normal steps. Doesn't say anything about emphasis anywhere. So we don't do emphasis. Okay, it doesn't say normal steps, but I really should explain it, that the emphasis is nowhere to be found. So we don't emphasize anything. We don't emphasize the turn after to the rear. We don't emphasize the halt. We don't emphasize flanks. Nothing. So just normal marching step and normal tempo, regular tempo for all of the steps. So you should be, Commander, in executing the left face. That's not the technique used. You begin marching in place, and so you can back up a couple of steps instead of that, using the side step. But as soon as the team comes around and the center of the flight is in front of you, then you exercise or execute that turn that you should, which is really, it's a marching face in march, a pivot on the right foot platform there. That's not the... so I understand why you did that. That's not the technique. The toe strike after the rear march. So Air Force has the best technique for to the rear march as far as putting the feet in line. And you all have that. That's good. So the left foot is being put in line. Yeah, that's so he stepped over, toes in line. Pretty much everybody's in line, stepped over. So if you turn and your left foot is to the left of your right foot and not in line like that, then you know that you've not executed the technique properly. And Commander has also stepped over as well. Stepped over the right foot and then turned. So both feet in line, half step, turn, another half step. So that half step afterwards is, again, not a toe strike. We don't toe strike in the Air Force. Marine Corps does, which has a good application in color guard, but not in platoon marching. Plus, you lift the left quite a bit. Then you have some foot discrepancies here, inconsistent application. Nicely done. That was really good. So maybe our Marine judge can tell us what was going on with the other team there while he was watching. So even though the team is halted, there, right there. Even though the team is halted, there's communication happening, and you should be looking. Yeah, how they doing there, Judge? Yeah, almost everybody stepped over that time, it looked like. So, and that's one thing you really have to be careful of. I hate the half step after the to the rear. It's ridiculous, honestly. It doesn't make any sense at all. It immediately kills momentum that you have. So, Commander, when you go to eyes right, it's eyes right. It's eyes right there. You don't drop your hand and then bring it up. It's so eyes right. Ready, front. That's when you finish. Drop your hand all the way down, come up, and drop. And then continue with the arm swing. Although, so sharp. She really does look absolutely fantastic. Now, couple of slight discrepancies with the hold technique there. So the change step has to be step, step, step. It has to be step, 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 or else you don't change step. So imagine there's another flight marching along with you, in front of, side, whatever, it doesn't matter. But you're all left, right, all in the same step, everything's good. But you say change step, march, and you step, 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 in tempo. You'll never change step. All you did was just bring your feet together and step off, and that's good. But it's still going to be left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. It doesn't matter that you executed the change step technique. You have to go double the cadence. So it has to be left, right, change step, harch, step, step, step. If you don't do the step, 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 you don't change step. So technically you didn't change step. All you did was march at the same tempo, put your feet together, and then step off. So I want to go back to that flank there. This is a wow, not bad, honestly. That's not bad at all. All right, so what I'm looking for is end steps. Now the end step, I've explained in other videos, but if you're watching for the first time, not a problem. The end step is the last step you take in the current direction. And if it's for a halt, it's the same principle. Same principle. So the commander here calls right flank harch on 2 consecutive right steps. The left is brought out full step, 24 inches, and then the pivot is executed on the platform of the left foot. So that left step there and the pivot, that's the end step. If everybody's taking the same length end step, then everybody is going to be just fine for alignment as soon as they complete and look. Not bad at all, honestly. With the halt so quick after, the end steps really have to be just dead on. They really do. But that was quite good. I saw maybe a couple of shorter end steps there, but you really have to be aware of your entire team's performance of that end step. Again, push that rifle in there. As soon as you place the rifle down, push it in. What's even better is to get that muscle memory to place the rifle as close to your foot as possible, and then you just have a minuscule amount to push in. Instead of bringing it out, setting it down 4 inches away from your foot and then having to recover those 4 inches. I get that that's motivational talk, but all right. So again, see, we've got spaces. So the port arms. Nice job. The columns were just really a thing of beauty, except for the toe strike. Well, the toe strike really does look good. Honestly, it does. However, it's not the proper technique. But really, I appreciate this performance. That was quite well done. A couple of issues here and there with specific Air Force techniques, but really, that's a pleasure to watch this school. Honestly. Really nice job. Okay, so that's the end of my critique. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it.